Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on how to make wooden stakes from a log. As you can see, it's a fairly straightforward process. I'm using a high carbon steel machete to split the log with the grain to form planks or shakes, and it's, like I said, it's a fairly easy process. I will say that it's very important to make sure that if you are using a machete, to make sure that it's flexible, so that if it encounters resistance, it's not going to snap in the wood. Um, and also just try to apply even force on either side of it as you work it down the log. As you can see, I'm also using a wooden club. It's nothing fancy, I just made it. And it's very important to use a wooden mallet or club um, to do this. You don't want to be using metal on metal. Um, that could have bad results because pieces of metal could come off, plus you'd be damaging the machete. And so as you can see, what happened here was I went a little off center, and so the machete kind of ran out of room. Um, and so what I'm going to have to do is reposition it, which is no problem. Just take it out and then uh, put it back in, and use again the mallet to hit down on the machete and make sure that it's properly seated, and then use the force, and here you see the finished plank or shake that comes off of it. It's really pretty remarkable that it's that uniform without having to use a saw. And you can see the clean edge on the log. Um, and like I said, it's pretty remarkable. Now, you can see that this log is off center. I would definitely recommend that you take a chainsaw or some other saw and make sure that you cut the bottom flat so that it can not fall over just like that did. It's very frustrating, and I thought I was going to save some time by not doing it, and as is usually the case, when you think that way, you wind up spending more time. So, yeah, do that, and it'll be a lot less frustrating. And the other thing is, as a safety warning, I guess, is just to make sure that the machete is always going in a way that's not going to hurt you if it should hit something in the wood and kind of uh, come off, and you don't want it going towards you. So just use basic common sense, and you'll be fine. And what I'm doing here is trying to just get the edges off of it, and kind of working my way around the log to make these shakes. It's an interesting process, and there's an actual tool um, that's been in use for hundreds of years. It's called a froe, um, and it does basically the same thing as what the machete is doing, except for the fact that it's much more substantial, and it has the handle comes off at a right angle, so it's easier to hold and easier to use. You'll notice that if you hold this handle, that you'll feel the vibration as it comes through the machete. So it's not the most pleasant experience. Uh, so it's I don't have a furrow, but I would assume that after all the human ingenuity um, applied to it over centuries, that it probably has a better design than this. So, but this accomplishes uh, things quite well. And like I said, the one important thing to do is just use something that isn't going to snap. You don't want to use something that's thin and prone to snapping. This one is flexible, and it seems to work quite well. Uh, and see, here's what I was talking about with the machete kind of going off course, and just be careful with that and make sure you don't get hurt. And here is what's left of the core there, and we've taken a we've taken a round log and turned it into a square. It's not perfect dimensional lumber, but it is pretty amazing what can be done with just splitting along the grain. And there's a snapshot of the actual squared up log. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take all of these shakes that we have, these small planks, and we're going to now make the actual stakes. Now I've moved over to a stump because before I had it on some cinder blocks and I was doing that, but I really don't want to have the machete going into the cinder blocks. It'll destroy the edge, and it's dangerous, and just not something I want to do. So I've got it on the stumps there, and this way I can kind of work the blade all the way down and not worried about damaging the edge. Now what you'll notice is when I start this, I don't swing the machete down onto the wood and just hope that I hit it. It's very dangerous, and you could easily hit your hand. So it's best to kind of have the machete and the piece of wood together, and as you can see, I kind of hammer it down, and once it gets seated, I move my hand up above the blade so that if it comes down, it's not going to hurt you. And you can see there, it was a bigger piece, and it kind of just flew everywhere. So now what I'm going to do, again, start it, move my hand up, and then hold the two pieces together, and this way they don't fly everywhere. And there is a finished stake. Now the purpose of these stakes is to actually hold down the bottom of a fence. We have a dog that likes to escape, so hopefully these will work well. If you like this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and I'm going to try to post some more videos on showing these stakes actually being used on the fencing project. So thank you again for watching, and I hope this helped.